Ted Tiomkin, a Krav Maga instructor who returned to Israel to serve the country after hearing about the war. Ted, thank you so much for joining me here this evening. Firstly, talk to us a little bit about your experience. My understanding is that you were in Thailand, heard what was going on here in Israel, and needed obviously to catch a flight to come back to the country. What was that whole ordeal like?
Yes, so actually, to be in all honesty, I wasn't planning to to stay longer. I was supposed to fly back 2 days ago, and actually had to postpone my flight because initially my flight was via Abu Dhabi. So in the last minute, I managed to get a straight flight. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. So I got a flight from Bangkok. There was a flight that was basically giving chance to all Israelis traveling in the Far East. There were people from all over. I met a bunch of guys from that were traveling in Japan, others scattered throughout Thailand. So we had this late night flight from Bangkok. And just asking, trying to understand everyone. So most of the people I saw on the flight were young people indeed who wanted to get back and go join the army as a reservist, as myself. I've been in my military service Krav Maga instructor. So my case, it's maybe a bit different. I wasn't dispatched with a specific unit. I was working in all of the army. So currently I'm in contact with the chief instructor, the head of the Krav Maga in the army. And from what I hear from him, there are many people, many fellow instructors that are volunteering, that he said approximately 50 to each lesson they offer. There are 50 volunteers. So but yeah, in any way possible, I'll be able to know probably within the next days what I will be able to do, whether it's in logistics or going to the front, or in every way possible. Everyone's willing to contribute.
No doubt a sense of national pride. That's in particular the Israel Defense Forces. Israeli children grow up knowing that they have to serve and want to serve. Israeli parents, on the other hand, mostly concerned about sending their children to the front line. Between you and your family, was there ever almost a dilemma or a decision to make, or was it just clear that regardless of how you could serve, you were coming home to serve?
It's funny you asking that. We haven't questioned that too much, but I had like a brief conversation with my mom, and from what I got, she's like, obviously she's, we have an expression in Hebrew which is לעשות את המוות, to make someone like deadly despaired. So I asked her if she's gonna make me feel that way about going to reserve, but what she replied to me was, no, it's you that are going to do that to me, but I'm able to live with that. Go and do just what you have to do. So yeah, I think that represents the feelings of most Israelis right now. It's the right thing to do, and we know what's at stake, we know what's the risk. It's probably a feeling of no choice, really.
It's a difficult thing for many onlookers, in particular non-Jews perhaps, or non-Israelis, to understand. Israel's a small country, and everyone knows someone who has been directly impacted by this, but there's a fortune of soldiers, reservists that also are foreign and are flying into the state to come and serve once again, not necessarily knowing anyone that has been murdered by Hamas. There's a deep sense of connection amongst Jews, amongst Israelis. What does it feel like possibly going to the front lines? You know, certain countries don't fully understand fighting for a cause, or perhaps because it's such an existential threat.
I think it's the latter. I think the thing that I was like in this week, last weeks that I've been actually this last week that the thing was brought on to the eyes of the world, and I was discussing it with people from all over the world in Thailand, is that we're not that much fighting for a cause, for an ideology, as much as we really are fighting from our home. You know, that can be bombarded in any second. It's not that we have a front line, a frontier which is miles from home, and we're driven by ideology. We are fighting for the home, for the neighborhood, for the city, you know, for your direct proximity. It's much more tangible for an Israeli. And we know, like, or my parents know, the past generations, if we don't fight, we are going to lose it like right away, because Israel is so small. You know, we don't have what usually happens is that you have like a buffer zone for deterrence, and people are sent there in war. For us, it's the proximity. We're fighting straight from home. So yeah, the feeling is much more tangible.
Ted Tiomkin, a Krav Maga instructor and reservist to return to Israel from Thailand to come and serve your country. We salute you and thank you very much for your service.
Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom.